Hi, and welcome to the Ultimate Manifestation Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Robert Grant. So happy to have you with me. It's been a little bit of time since the last time we came on the air with this podcast, but I am super happy to be here and super happy that you joined me. Had a lot of shifts, a lot of transformations here in the last few days, and it's just allowed me to connect with my heart more. You know, it's allowed me to connect with my heart. It's allowed me to really step into a place of complete and utter acceptance. And if you've never been there, if you've never been in a position to step into a place of complete acceptance, then this podcast is completely for you, because I'm just going to explain to you what happened here in the last few days, and then I'm going to tie in today's topic. But just to give you a bit of background, I'm about to open my heart to you, and that's what counts, because that's what we need to do as human beings in order for us to grow in love and in truth and ultimately live the life that we truly desire to live. And so a few days ago, I got into this habit of, I've done the law of attraction. I've done, the manifestation and stuff, and I've really gotten good at it. But the one thing I will be honest with you about is that oftentimes you manifest something and you feel it for a split second, and then it leaves, and then you're on to the next thing. And now that's great, but eventually the manifestations start to not even really have the same effect as they have had in the past when you first really start learning how to do it, right? So I remember I was sitting down and my wife called over to me from her workspace, and she said, "We just sold 2 items on Amazon," which is really neat because it was a product that we both put so much love and time into, and it was probably the epitome of anything I've ever done. And I say that because it was the first time I utilized all of my gifts that I had developed up to that point. So really proud of this product. But she had told me that, and normally I'd be like, yes, that's amazing, that's awesome, getting paid, selling products. But I just kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I felt something. I felt something in my chest area, right? Felt something in my chest area. And I knew just from past experience that something emotional was trying to come up. Something emotional was trying to emerge, as Michael Beckwith would put it. And I just had to sit with it, because what I've learned so amazingly from people like Kyle Cease and like Michael Bernard Beckwith and like, Derek Rydell, is to allow whatever wants to come up to emerge. Allow it to emerge. Accept it. Don't live in resistance. Accept it, right? Accept all of life, because all of life is God. All of life is God in action. So instead of taking one of those deflecting practices that I usually do to try to suppress the emotion, I just felt it. I felt it, and all of a sudden, I know when I'm getting ready to cry, and I think most people understand when they're getting ready to cry, because they can feel that emotion starting to come through, up through the neck, through the chest, up into the tear ducts. And that's what I started to feel. And I was thinking to myself, I'm about to release something really big. And so I asked the question one last time, God in me, what is trying to emerge? And immediately, right away, the need for approval, and I bursted out into tears. And at that moment, I realized that my life was predicated on the need for approval. Everything pretty much I had done up to that point was for the approval of someone else. So I cried and cried and cried in my state of vulnerability and just thought, like, literally it was like a montage of a movie flashing before my eyes, all the things I had done in order to get love from the people around me, from the people that love me. All these things I had done. And it just created this immense pain in my system. Like in my entire body, the pain was just so strong. Because I had realized, like, it's a stark realization when you realize I hadn't completely been living my life for myself. It's been in the approval of others. And I just sat with it. I just kept saying, you know what? I need to sit with this. I need to accept it. I can't resist it. If I do resist it, it's going to come back. It's going to make its way around. It's going to manifest as something else. I need to accept and embrace this pain right now. And that's exactly what I did. And my wife helped me through it. She talked to me about it a bit. And all of a sudden, it just became more and more clear. Instead of me living my life from the place that says, this is my heart, this is what I would love, and I'm excited and full of joy to do, I was coming from a place that said, what would somebody else like? What might these people like? What might work for these people? And so the reason I'm being so vulnerable with you in regards to this is because I need you to know that it's okay to not be perfect. I live my life attempting to be perfect every single day, and it got me nowhere. But the moment I start expressing my vulnerability, the moment I start expressing the idea that I was wrong, yes, I was wrong, but that's okay. And I can still love myself for what I accomplished, even in my faulty beliefs, blocks, and emotional turmoil. I can still love myself for everything that came out of it. But now I understand that it's what's inside the heart that matters. And it's allowing what's in the heart to just well up, come alive, and express itself. And let everything else in and just continually begin to allow you to be stronger, to allow you to be more embracive. I don't even know if that's a word, but more embracive of everything that life has for us, of everything that life chooses for us. And I am so thrilled. I'm so excited that I did, because as soon as I released that, I instantly felt this rush of joy, this rush of creativity, this rush of acceptance that said, you know what? I'm done trying to, do things that are going to affect and influence everybody else. I'm done trying to influence. I'm done trying to affect. I'm done trying to coerce people into believing what I'm saying. No longer am I doing that now. But now I'm moving from a place that says, God in me, what does my heart want to express to the world? And immediately I came up with this title, Needing Nothing Attracts Everything. And I didn't question it one bit. Before, I would say, well, is that a really good title? But now it's like, you know what? If that is what my heart wants to express, let me just put it out there, right? And I don't need all the external things that say this podcast was a success or this podcast was not a success. All it's just an illusion. It's an illusion, right? The fact that you listen to your heart, what your heart was telling you, is success enough. And it's so powerful. And that's the stuff that truly transforms the world. If you look at the description, I said, this is what will truly transform your life. I'm telling you every bit of truth. I'm living it now because I finally understand it's not about what other people want. It's not about what other people think ultimately. It's not about how other people feel about you and your gifts and your talents and how you express them to the world. It's about you listening to your heart, your spirit, the God in you, and allowing it to just flow and circulate into the world and back into you and continue that cycle day in and day out. So when I think about the topic that we set for today's episode, I got that from Bob Marley. And the reason I love Bob Marley is because Bob Marley was a visionary. I know he was a musician, but this man was a visionary. And, you know, he did so much for the world. It's so funny, I'm wearing this shirt right now. And every time I see his face and I see that joy, that timeless, eternal picture on his face, of his face, not on his face, I think, okay, here is a man who moved completely from joy, who moved completely from his heart, that allowed him to just open himself up and be as courageous as possible. One of my favorite Bob Marley stories is when he got shot. He literally got shot, and the next day he came on stage and he still began to sing his message of one love. And one love is giving me goosebumps right now because that transcends all of the other bullshit. That transcends all of the crime, all of the hatred, all of the political BS. All of the things that we're struggling with now can be transcended by one love, which is one God, which is each and every one of us, the entire universe embraced, enveloped, loved, accepted in truth. That is what truly matters. And that's what Bob Marley stood for. And that is what is so admirable. And that leads me to the indication of what today's episode is really about. Stop attempting to get stuff. Stop feeling like you need to manipulate somebody in order to get your product. Stop feeling like what you have is not good enough or what you have might not sell to the public. Stop feeling inferior for one and start connecting to that infinite, beautiful, loving, generous place inside you that's going to offer not only everything that everybody else needs, but everything that you need within the process. Start aligning with your highest truth and doing the very best with what you have, following your heart's guidance and allowing that to open you up to some of the most beautiful experiences life could ever bring. And once you do that, you understand, you know what? The true joy does not come from having the Corvette or having $10 million in the bank or having the big house on the beach or traveling from one side of the globe to the next. It comes in the creative ability of yours being expressed to the world through your truth in love and in joy. That becomes what makes us the happiest and what matters the most to us. This is why Bob Marley said, money don't matter. I don't need a lot of money. I just need my guitar. Because his guitar was his instrument, was his expression, was his way of channeling the divine and releasing it out to the world to raise their consciousness. And that's what it comes down to. That's what this podcast is about. That's what you're likely doing with your business and the things that you're offering to the world. All I ask you is just to get in alignment. Get in alignment knowing that it will work out better than you expect if you connect to your heart, to the God in you, and you allow that to open you up freely. You allow that to open you up freely to the world without hesitation, without need for approval, without need to succeed, without need for anything. And in that simple action, that is when you begin to attract everything. Now, before I go, I don't want you to, not that you will, but just in case, don't selfishly try to get to a place to where you're forcing your heart to come through, because I've done that and it doesn't work. Don't force what the heart has inside of it. Allow it to emanate. Allow it to emanate, resonate, and then give it to the world. By doing so, by staying in congruence with that energy, you set yourself up to realize your highest potential. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to go. It's even greater than you, I, or anybody that has ever lived could ever imagine. And that's what happens when you connect with your heart and you stay in that connection. You live in that connection. You embrace that connection and you understand this is who I truly am. And when I know that this is who I truly am, there is nothing else that I need. There is nothing else that I desire. I am here in a state of giving and receiving what comes from that giving. Connect to your heart, guys. Connect to your heart. I'm so glad that you could join me today. Thank you for allowing me to be in a space of vulnerability, to be in a space to share with you my truth, to be in a space that says, you know what? This is who I am. Aside from everything else, this is who I am. This is what I experience, and I want to use it to help you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.